I'm John Haughm. I play guitar and vocals in Agalloch, and this is Whiskey Soda TV.
I am Eviga of Dornenreich, and you're watching Whiskey Soda TV.
So we are here with John and Eviga, John of Agalloch, Eviga of Dornenreich, in Berlin, playing the K17 tonight. John, we emailed back and forth, and you already told me that there's a history with you and the Dornenreich that goes back all the way to 1997. So could you just tell us what's this history?
Well, I was living in New Hampshire, and we had just put out the 97 demo for Agalloch. This was in 97. And I got a flyer for the Dornenreich demo, and so I wrote him. And we traded demos, and later on we traded albums, and just sort of kept in contact off and on through the years. And each band sort of seemed to have grown together in this sort of way throughout the years. And then now here we're like touring with each other. And so it's just a really nice gradual history that's gone through the years. Yeah, it's a short story, but it has roots that date back all the way then. So we're really quite honored to actually be touring with such a great band.
Have you ever talked about maybe collaborating on music in the future?
Yes, we have. Just today, we talked about doing something together. But, you know, time will tell which projects are to be or are possible to be done together. But we will. I hope so, yeah.
John, could you tell me and us what makes Dornenreich an outstanding band?
Just incredibly unique mixture of folk and black metal, but done in a way that isn't, I guess, stupid. You know what I mean? It's not like happy folk, metal. It's really dignified, emotional music that pulls from various influences, from classical to folk to, as I see it, just like pure natural darkness, and it's very unique. I don't think there's another band I've heard that's similar in that way. And yeah.
Okay, and obviously Eviga, what are your thoughts on Agalloch?
Well, I think they are very authentic, and it's always great to watch them playing live, because it's that intense and that passionate, and actually to me they don't sound very American. It's very deep and passionate kind of music, and I really, really think highly of this band.
I know it's kind of a dull question generally because it gets asked a lot, but especially with a band like Dornenreich that has a unique sound, absolutely, I would say. It's all the more interesting to know where the influences are, and which you took and then made something really new out of that. So,
well, yeah, for sure. I mean, when you start, you always kind of look at other bands for inspiration, and you find certain ones that really, touch you and really, really inspire you to create something interesting. But I mean, through the years, I think you should evolve and find your own identity, and not throw away those old influences, but develop something that's all your own. And I think now, especially with our last album and the next album, we've been trying more and more to create from the perspective of not having any influences at all. Just write what comes from our hearts and our spirits, rather than listening to a record and being like, yeah, we want it to sound like this or that, but actually just do it, and whatever comes out comes out. And I think that is really the mark of an original style, is when you can pull from your own, self, and not only musical influences, but like natural influences, and like we draw a lot of influences from film and art and other forms of art form or than music. So yeah, that's but I still, of course, love the older records. I love old Godspeed, Black Emperor records. I never tire of that stuff. And there are definitely some newer bands that I really like, that I'm always searching the underground for some really true and bands that have a strong identity and things like that. So, yeah.
It's pretty much the same with us. Our artistic expression has always been based on intuition, and of course we're all influenced by many bands or artists and projects, and for sure one main influence was or is Norwegian black metal, such as Ulva or Kvist or Gehenna. But we've always been searching for authentic music that gives us the creeps and then inspires us. Classical music, not genre-based. I loved and I still love Tori Amos for her musical genius, and yeah.
I'm really interested in your thoughts on maybe not God, but the concept of divinity and spirituality and stuff like that, because I think it plays a big part in your music and in your lyrics. And I'm especially referring to one line in one of Agalloch's song, which is one of my favorite songs, and actually the song I heard first of you, In the Shadow of Our Pale Companion. There's this line, if this grand panorama before my eyes is what you call God, then God is not dead. Which I just really like, just for the words, how it sounds. But, I mean, it sounds really deep, like you put a lot of thought in that. So, John, I'm wondering, you're using actually the word God. Many bands avoid that word, actually, or just use it in a very negative sense, even. You used it here positively. And I'm just wondering, what is God to you? What does it mean to you?
Well, from a pagan standpoint, there are many gods. I think in that line I was referring to the god of nature, whereas in Bloodbirds I'm referring to the god of man. As being a failure. Whereas the god of nature is creating, a beautiful panorama. That's endless and wondrous. I mean, that's really my point of view of God is it's more or less just a perspective. It's a human perspective on life in different forms. And, I take more of the heathen approach to that whole concept. I don't really believe in some, Christ figure or anything or whatever. But rather just a spirit, and different sorts of spirits that, like the spirit of the woods and the spirits of the sea and things like that. So